Welcome to my podcast. In this Armchair GM, I will be the Armchair GM for the Nashville Predators and the New Jersey Devils. I will start with being the Armchair GM for the Nashville Predators, then I will be the Armchair GM for the New Jersey Devils. The Nashville Predators are a team that have the right pieces in place to make the playoffs. However, they have been eliminated in the second round of the playoffs the past few seasons. The Predators have the core pieces in place. They just need to add some pieces to become a legit contender. These are the moves that I would make if I were GM for the Nashville Predators. First, here are some key UFAs and RFAs for the Predators. The key UFAs are Paul Gaustad and Carter Hutton. The key RFAs are Philip Forsberg, Kel Jarnkrok, Gabriel Bork, Mazanec, and Granberg. The first priority for the Predators is to re-sign Philip Forsberg to a long-term deal. I would try to lock him up to a 6-year deal worth $6 to $7 million per season. If you need to, go up to 7.5. But you need to try to lock up Philip Forsberg. He is your core player going forward. You also need to try to lock up long-term Ryan Johansson. He isn't due for a contract until 2017, but it doesn't hurt to start negotiations now. Johansson should get a deal worth $6 million for 5 years. Also, bring back all the other RFAs to 2-year deals and sign Bork to a 1-year deal as a depth player. To make some cap room to sign some free agents, you should trade Eric Nystrom or buy him out because Eric Nystrom has not been in the lineup recently. And he's just making too much money to be a healthy scratch. Simple as that. He's due $2.5 million for next season. Teams that need to reach the cap floor may be interested in him, or teams that need some grinding, speedy forwards could have a use for Nystrom, but I have a feeling that Nystrom won't be on the Predators next year. The next thing on the list is to trade Craig Smith and a third-round pick of 2017 to the Tampa Bay Lightning for Ryan Callahan. This trade makes sense for both teams because Ryan Callahan takes up a lot of cap hit for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Predators could absorb some of that cap hit. Craig Smith would be a little less than Callahan, and he's signed long-term. Craig Smith would be a good depth player for them, while Callahan would provide that physical presence up front as well as some leadership in the locker room. A free agent signing that the Predators should make is signing Kyle Brodziak to a 2-year deal. Brodziak is a good fourth-line center. He's very versatile and can kill penalties. So after all said and done, the Predators would have added Ryan Callahan and Kyle Brodziak. They would have lost Craig Smith, Gabriel Bork, Paul Gaustad, and Carter Hutton. This is how the Predators roster will look on opening day if these moves follow through. The first line would be Philip Forsberg, Ryan Johansson, and Ryan Callahan. The second line would be Colin Wilson, Mike Fisher, and James Neal. The second line would be Kelly Jarnkrok, Mike Ribeiro, and Victor Arvidsson. The fourth line is Austin Watson, Kyle Brodziak, and Salomaki. The first defensive pair is Roman Josi and Josi-Weber. The second defensive pair is Matthias Ekholm and Ryan Ellis. The third defensive pair is Anthony Vitale and Forsberg-Jackman. The seventh defenseman is Granberg. The goaltenders are Rinne and Mazanec. So that's the Armchair GM for the Nashville Predators. Now, moving on to the New Jersey Devils. The New Jersey Devils are a rebuilding team, but that does not mean that they cannot go out and sign free agents if it means it will improve the team for next season. The Devils roster is pretty empty at the moment, so they will have to find a way to fill out their roster on opening day somehow. They might as well go out and sign some good quality players, right? So this is what I would do if I were GM of the New Jersey Devils. The key UFAs for the New Jersey Devils are Patrick Elias, Tuomo Ruutu, Steven Gionta, Yuri Tuluski, Tyler Kennedy, Bobby Farnham, David Schlemko, and Warsofsky. The key RFAs are Kyle Palmieri, John Morrell, Boucher, Jacob Josefson, Blandisi-Helm-Smith-Pelly, and Sergei-Kalinin. The first priority for the Devils is re-signing RFA Kyle Palmieri. Kyle Palmieri should get a 5-year deal worth $5.5 million per season. Next, they should try to trade Mike Camilleri. Mike Camilleri has been productive, but he's been hurt too many times during the past few years. So if you can get a good return for him, why not? They should trade Camilleri to the LA Kings for a first-round pick in 2017 and a conditional third-round pick in 2018 if the Kings reach the conference finals. And the Devils would probably have to take back some salary as well, because the Kings are strapped with cap space. Next, they should re-sign some key RFAs in Boucher, Smith-Pelly, Kalinin, and Josephson. Smith-Pelly, Boucher, and Kalinin should get 2-year deals, while Josephson should get a 1-year deal. Even though Patrick Elias has said he wants to return and play, it is better for the Devils not to re-sign Patrick Elias. Elias has been a long-time Devil, has been a long-time loyal Devil at that. This will be a tough decision to make, but is better off for the team. Before Severson has a breakout year, the Devils are better off signing him long-term before he has a breakout year. So I would try to lock him up to a long-term deal worth $4 million per year. The UFAs that I would try to sign for the Devils are Darren Helm to a 3-year deal with $3 million per season. Chris Stewart to a 2-year deal with $2.5 million per season, and Jason Demers to a 3-year deal with $3.5 million per season. These are all players that would help out the depth of the Devils and would help out the team tremendously. And you would call up Blake Pietila to help out the depth as well. After all is said and done, the Devils would have added Darren Helm, Chris Stewart, and Jason Demers. They would have lost Mike Camilleri, Patrick Elias, Tuomo Ruutu, Steven Gionta, Jordan Tutu, Yuri Tuluski, Tyler Kennedy, Bobby Farnham, David Schlemko, and Tyler Kennedy, as well as John Morrell. So this is how the Devils roster should look like if all these moves come true. The first line would be Adam Henrique, Pavel Zacha, and Kyle Palmieri. The second line would be Boucher, Zajac, and Chris Stewart. The third line would be Joseph Blandisi, Darren Helm, and Blandisi-Helm-Smith-Pelly. And the fourth line would be Blake Pietila, Jacob Josefson, and Sergei-Kalinin. And you still have Ryan Clowe on the IR. The first defensive pair would be Andy Green and Adam Larsson. The second defensive pair would be Jason Demers and Demers-Severson. The third defensive pair would be John Moore and Steve Santini. The goaltenders would be Corey Schneider and Kinkaid. So that would be the New Jersey Devils Armchair GM. And that will wrap it up for this Armchair GM for the Nashville Predators and the New Jersey Devils. And it will also end this podcast. Next episode, I will be Armchair GM for the New York Islanders and the New York Rangers.